A dramatic reading of Metroid High School, Chapter 5, The Dark Surpriese. Author's Notes. Hi people, thank you everyone for all the reviews and not the flames. Grrr! Also, thanks to Cervantes, who this chapter is dedicated to. The sigh will be long, so Also, I learned some tricks from a poetry conference I went to in Shawl, so I spiced things up with words. Reader's Notes. That's not good. Time. 3 weeks had passed since the cholera conspiracy, and for Samus it was just the beginning. Dark light had confused her soul, and it was a burden she could not comprehend. She sat in her bed, grasping the straws that had come loose. Straws that poisoned the water of light, lightness, darkness. Samus could not understand the feelings that gripped her apart over the 3 weeks. Forces were turning her away, but it was a force that could not be explained with words. Grip was squeezing her like a lemon, the real kind. It was like a dream, only this time it was for real, fake reality. It sat acting like a chainsaw, and she could not go back to Ridley. Not now, not like the past. She knew that she was loved, but there was something that was impossible to ever go back. Temporary. Longevity. All of a sudden, Samus screamed. She was losing control over her conscience, and there was a new force rising. It was like Samus, only it was Dark Samus instead. She could barely fight to take over her actions, and she was becoming weird. It was impossible to know what would happen next. Until it happened. There was her cholera. This was her cholera, but soon she knew it could not contain. Confession, possession, obsession. Ridley knew there was a crisis, and he was meeting at his house. There was also Ted, Robbie, and Tio Juan, and Smiley, the new kid. The tension was emergency, and it was about to implode. "What am I going to do?" detonated Ridley. "Dude, calm down, it's all cool," Smiley conformed. "I'm not so sure that's a great assuage," Ted confusingly used vocabulary that not everyone knew. "Okay everyone, we need not to panic and we need to think of a solution," Tio Juan dictated. Everyone was quiet, and they all thought about the problem. It was quite conundrum, and there was not a solid point hat everyone could think of. Samus was not forgiving, and especially she was acting strange, like she was becoming dark. Ridley did not like to think about this, and he didn't. Little did he know that this was much more to think than he though. "If I was you, I'd apologize to the girl and say I'm sorry," Smiley permitted cool. People agreed with this, but Ridley was not so cleverly amused. "But when would I do?" Ridley contended. "Tomorrow," everyone accused, and it was agreed. But little did the meeting know that there was a new darkness on the horizon. Darkness. It was a day at Metroid High School, and things were bright and sunny. It was like the day that Ridley asked out Samus, but it was not that day ago. Ridley was ready to apologize, but something was strange. There was a crowd, and Riley wanted to see what the commotion was. It turned out that there was a new kid, and he wore a black clog with some chains, and he had blue hair that was natural that he didn't dye. When he walked, he was hot angsty, and he had a bad ass. When someone asked him what his name was, he said it was Cervantes. Cervantes! Ridley engraved in stone. It was the name he never knew, but he would never forget. You see, there was a problem that was right around the corner, and Ridley could not barrage Jane for the future. Samus was on a chair being angsty, and Cervantes thought that she was her type. Wait, what? Cervantes is a girl? He sat down next to her and began to woo her with his color. Nope, he's not a girl. "Hello," Cervantes began. "Hi," returned Samus. "You look very lonely, and you're angsty," Cervantes related. "I'll see you around." Samus was amazed by this man. He thought he was beautiful, and they just met. But was angsty good? No. Yes, no, yes, no, yes! Samus was battling herself, and she almost missed the boat. She would think about this later, but not later as she decided. Inside her head, there was another battle. Samus against Dark Samus. Cholera against Samus. It was the battle that could not be broken, and no Sargent could explain the situation. It was too late. Too late. Too late. After school, Samus was confronted by Ridley, who was anticipated. The day had been very long, and he was ready to make up for the The day had been very long, and he was ready to make up for the The day had been very long, and he was ready to make up for the porblem he had created. But was Samus? Oh no. I'm sorry. Rildier? Rildier apologized to little effect. It's too late for love. Samus deflated his balloon. What are these emojis? Oh my god, this chapter's so long, dude. It's too late for love. Samus deflated his balloon. Ridley was out of his mind. But what are you talking about? He disillusioned. Ridley, I'm Cervantes' girlfriend now. Samus shocked the populace. Time stood still, but kept going for Ridley. This was impossible to comprehend. What the hell? But Samus, what about... But Ridley was cut off because Cervantes came out of the door and dared with debonair. Goodbye, Samus ultimated, and Ridley was left alone in the cold. Too cold. Too cold. Samus fought with Dark Samus for control. She could not believe she dumped her boyfriend, but it was too late. Or not. Dark Samus, you suck, bad-mouthed Samus. That ought to teach him. Little girl, the cholera will soon devour you, and I will control your body. Dark Samus snapped back. Samus snarled at her opponent and continued the battle that would determine... Would determine what? Cervantes and Samus went to many places that were cool, like Hot Topic, and other places that angsty cool people chill. They ate some things, but the date was over pretty quick than it had started. Samus remembered her first date with Ridley, but Dark Samus was in control, and there was no stopping the lust. Let's go to my house, Cervantes proposed. Samus was wary of this request, but she was overcome with passion, and was battled by the cholera her good judgment. There was little to do now, just hope. At Ridley's house, Ridley was depressed. He had screwed up his relationship, and now he was listening to depressing music. He was afraid that he might become emo, and it was likely, more likely than he could think. He also was thinking about darker things. But it wasn't true. No, it was. No, it wasn't. This was Ridley's battle, and he had things to overcome as well, if he could. Samus was naked and passionate, just like that long ago, but it was different. Because it wasn't Ridley, it was Cervantes. She was exploding in lust, but she kept feeling that it was wrong, but Dark Samus was in control. There was little she could do. This day had been a mind blow, but it was only going to get worse from here, she knew. As Samus fell asleep in Cervantes... Oh, Jesus Christ. As Samus fell asleep in Cervantes, murky thoughts cloud her mind. Dark, light, Ridley... Cervantes, love, lust, redemption.